I'd like to give you a little bit of a background story of digital payments. First of all, if we talk about digital payments and cryptocurrency, a lot of people will ask, what is it? Well, in short, it is actually digital money that can be transferred virtually at no cost to anyone, or at very little cost, and it can be transferred anywhere in milliseconds. Put another way, cryptocurrency is electricity converted into lines of code with a monetary value. In the simplest of forms, cryptocurrency is what is today referred to as digital currency. And if we go a little bit back in history, in early 2009, to be more specific, in January 29, the first cryptocurrency came actually about. And today it has gone, it's gone crazy out in the market because so many people see where digital money is actually going. So in 2009, digital currency had a new name, and it was named a cryptocurrency. The first one that actually came out was something that was called a Bitcoin. And a Bitcoin today, they've been able to actually produce half of what Bitcoin are going to be producing over the next 10 to 20 years. So that means there's been a big market demand, big demand for more currencies to come up, and I'll show you some of the major currency that is now that's now actually exploding out there in the market, and people are trying to get their hands off. Because if there's a limitation to something, people, they want it, because demand is going to increase more and more and more and more. Now look, just to let you understand what cryptocurrency is, as I already mentioned on the last slide, or on the previous slide, it is a means of being able to pay for products and services. It can be transferred in milliseconds. But if you would like to actually compare to what you may be using today, be it US dollars, be it euros, British pounds, kronas, or whatever currency that you're used to, it is just like any other currency, but it is digital, and it is designed for the purpose of exchanging digital information through a process made possible by certain principle of something that's referred to as cryptography. Cryptography is used to secure the transactions and to control the creation of new coins. The example here that I'm going to show you is mind-blowing, because in May 2010, one Bitcoin was valued at, listen to this, at 0.001, not 0.01 as a lot of people think it was, but it was close to nothing at all. It was 0.001. 9 months later on, it hits $1. And for those of you who understands a little bit of math, will know that that's 1,000 times increase. 1,000 times increase on something in 9 months. That's that's unheard of. But then later on, as we move in February, it goes to 31. Then in July, $100. In June, $350, and then it goes up further and further and further until it hits the $1,000 mark on November 19, 2013. $1,000. If you compare that to the price it was for one Bitcoin back in 2010, that would be 1,000,000 times higher value. 1,000,000 times. Today, it's around 600 to 650 as I'm doing this presentation. So is there a potential in digital currency, in cryptocurrency? You bet you it is. I can tell you this. In the future, you're not going to walk around with paper money or coins. No, that's going to be obsolete. What you're going to be walking around with is what you walk around with all the time anyway, and that is your cell phone or your mobile phone, and that is what you're going to be using to pay for transactions, services, and products. When you go to the supermarket, when you go to the lawyer, when you want to do any kind of transfer across border, you're going to be using your phone. So this is, of course, something that is scaring a lot of banks out there. Just the other day, a big article come out actually from the National Bank of South Africa, where they say that cryptocurrency is going to take over 40% of all banking business over the next 30 to 40 years. Why is that? Well, you think about it yourself. If you were to transfer money from your bank account to someone else in another city in the country where you live, it may take, it may happen in an hour, it may take a day. And there's of course going to be a transaction fee for doing that transfer. Now think about this. if you transfer from one country to another country, it will normally take anywhere between 3 to 4 business working days. Now, do you believe it actually takes the bank that long to send the money? Of course it doesn't. What happens is that the bank is keeping the money so they can put it into the forex market, or they can make interest on your money. That's how banks make money. So of course this is, something that scares a lot of banks out there, but they need to get on the wagon as well. So what you see today is that a lot of the major banks such as HSBC, Barclays, they're all now creating their own cryptocurrency, because if they lose the boat here, they're going to lose their business. So this is the thing. With cryptocurrency, it cannot be influenced by politics or religions. There's no inflation, it's close to zero fees, and it's immediate transactions. In other words, it happens in milliseconds. So if the banks don't get on the wagon, they're going to lose out completely. Now, today, even Wall Street are talking about this. This is the biggest thing since, the internet. When internet came along in the 80s, it was changing the way people was doing publishing. Today, cryptocurrency is going to create a change of how finances are driven in the world. You may not believe it at this stage, but I can tell you this. Not many people, they believed 25 years ago when someone would come into a shop with a plastic card and said they wanted to pay for a product or service. They were laughing. They said, you're not able to pay with a plastic card. And if you understand what I'm talking about, I'm of course talking about Visa, MasterCard, JCB, American Express, and so on. People, they were laughing. Today, I don't think any of your friends do not have either a debit or a credit card. Today, everyone pays with credit or debit cards. Me personally, I don't travel around with a lot of cash because it's unsecure, but I can travel around with a plastic card and I can pay for it using my, using it to get my services and products out there. Exactly the same thing is what's going to happen now over the next 5, 10, 20 years. People are not going to walk around with a plastic card either. They're going to just use their mobile phone. And this is what I refer to as the next generation of the .com industry, where millionaires are being made right now. Just to give you some success stories. Here's, back in 2013, there's a man that buys $27 of cryptocurrency. He forgets about it because $27 is not all that much. And then later on, he discovers it 2 years later on that it is worth $886,000. And he buys himself a luxury apartment on $27. There's another guy here, that was on Bloomberg News, where he purchased his first batch of coins, cryptocurrency, at 20 cents a piece. And he traded them for approximately $258 a piece. He bought it at 20 cents, trades it at $258, and he earns a profit of almost $1.3 million US. What's going to happen is this. Bitcoin was the first one out there, but as there's so much demand out there for cryptocurrency, of course, value increases. And as I said here, up until now, Bitcoin has been able to produce half of what they will be able to produce. And that's it. They cannot produce more than 21 million coins. So far, they've produced 10.5 million coins. So what happens is in 2011, a lot of other companies look into this and they say, hey, guys, we got to get on the wagon here. So now today, you see here on the computer screen, it may not be that clear, but here you see 10 of the most popular cryptocurrencies that's available on the market today. It works like the forex market. You can go in, you can buy, you can sell. But what are people doing today? They're buying up. There's so much demand for cryptocurrency because there's limitations to how much can be produced by each different companies. So that's why demand is increasing. So today, there's about 500 different cryptocurrencies out on the market, and more are going to show up in the next few years. So let me explain to you how you produce a cryptocurrency or a coin. It's not something that you would hold in your hand because it's all digitalized. But let me put it into perspective. Let's say you would want to go out and dig for gold. Now, if you find a gold mine, a physical gold mine, you walk into the mine and you start digging, you start mining for gold, and you may spend a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, a year, and all suddenly, jackpot, you find where the gold is. And now once you've found it and you know where it is, it's easy for you to come back and mine again and again and again and again, and you can just go on and you can find the gold. However, now if your friends, family, or other people, they start hearing about this gold mine, what's going to happen is they're going to start bringing their tools, and they're going to go out there, start mining as well. Now they're going to be maybe 1,000 people, there's going to be 10,000 people, and the more people that starts mining, the more difficult it becomes to find the gold, because there's going to be limited gold in the mine. In cryptocurrency, we call something mining as well, where you don't actually use your tools to stand there and hack, but what you do instead, you solve math problems, and you let computers do that. You have computers and electricity, and you have software, and this is what's happening. It is a process by which transactions are verified and added to a public ledger, known as something that's called a blockchain, and also the means through which new coins are released. And anyone that has access to the internet and that has, suitable, strong enough, resourceful enough hardware, computers, can actually participate in the mining. The participant who will first solve the puzzle, a mathematical challenge, gets to place the next block on the blockchain and claim the reward. The rewards which incentivize mining are both the transaction fees associated with the transactions compiled in the block, as well as the newly released coins. So if you compare it to, just having a data center where you would rent a hosting service for your website, here you would have renting a location where you could do mining, and you would have people on location. So if something happens to the computer, they could go in, they could fix it, get it back up and running, and it produces coins for you 24/7. And again, these are not physical, these are virtual. It's legal. It's now been done worldwide, and that's why so many people are starting to do this. However, it's becoming more and more difficult, so that's why people are starting to look for mining centers that has both the resources, the capabilities, and that has the appropriate software and hardware, and the good enough software engineers that knows how to solve the puzzles. So, if you look at Bitfury, which is a company, is now investing $100 million in a brand new cryptocurrency mining farm. Why? Because there's so much demand. BitPay is headed to the moon, it's being said, where Richard Branson from the Virgin Group invests over $30 million. Today, some of the world's largest venture capital firms can't get enough of cryptocurrency. They're all investing into the market. And MTG Capital is to launch a new hydro-powered crypto coin mining operation. Even Siemens, they're developing a business unit that would include a blockchain application center where they invest $1 billion. And now it's gone that far that where industry is now descended on Shanghai this year for Global Blockchain Summit. So the question, of course, you ask yourself, look, I now seen the story, Carlos. I've seen that you've shown that, the first cryptocurrency went from 0.001, went up to $1,000, 1,000,000 times in value. Have I missed the boat? Well, this is the good news, guys. We have not even scratched the surface yet.